Hey everyone, welcome back with Beano Mac, where today we're going to do a quick playthrough of Tekken 3. We're going to play as Hwoarang. This is my first Tekken 3 playthrough on the channel, and so, I am doing it on a little bit of an easier difficulty. That difficulty would be easy. But out of the way, this is just to kind of, catch my bearings again, and I don't really, I haven't done any training or anything like that. I'm just kind of jumping right into it. But,
Round two.
yeah, looks like we're taking on Hwoarang first here, so I'm probably only going to do like a few of these Tekken 3 playthroughs, because Tekken 3 was not really my game. I grew up with Tekken 4 and Tekken 5, those are my titles. I've only played like the arcade version and like Tekken 5, which was an awesome feature, by the way. PS2, GameCube, I feel like they weren't the best, but they still had like a lot of cool retro games built in and stuff like that. They really, it seemed like they still kind of wanted you to play, older titles at that time.
You win.
Whereas nowadays, like Capcom is usually really good with re-releasing their older content and stuff like that I appreciate. But I think others, obviously Nintendo being the main one. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with Nintendo at this point, but I think that even they were a little more receptive to re-releasing old stuff around this time, and like games like Animal Crossing and stuff like that. You can get those old arcade cabinets and stuff like that, but either way, I'm not going to do Tekken 1 or 2 more than likely, just because I think Tekken 3, I think most people can agree that's when the series really first started, for themselves and whatnot. But I gotta say, playing this right now, I am surprised just how well this game still holds up, because, I kind of expected something similar to like Tekken 1 and 2, something kind of buggy, or, well, I guess I wouldn't say buggy, but, just kind of, frigid. Jeez, that's not the right term. Can't really think of the correct term at this moment. There's something a little more, limiting, I guess, is the best way I can describe it at this moment in time. Something in which, it feels a little, clunky and stuff like that, but it's still very good in my opinion, I think. Although I think the issue I might have is it seems like it takes too long for you to kind of get up off the floor and stuff like that, but maybe that's just me. Backgrounds are also very interesting as well.
You win.
Man, you can definitely tell games, like certain characters in these little games, usually the ones I like, to be quite honest with you, which is probably just coincidence or maybe not, but they're a lot more broken. Like, I don't think that, me getting perfects and all this other stuff, and like just the damage, so like, the basic Hwoarang or Hwoarang, I don't even think they even had they even pronounce this name in this game. Maybe they didn't decide it yet or something like that, but it's amazing just how much damage these characters all do in these moves. But it's always funny to see, like you move and then the backgrounds kind of shift their perspective and stuff like that. Like you can easily tell, like you're essentially fighting on like a big circle, and all around you is just like a little background that keeps just moving. It's like an infinite background type thing, but honestly, I think there's still some charm to these areas. It'd be kind of cool though if we got I think Tekken Tag Tournament might have made a few new updated versions of these stages. Like I know we got an updated version of like the Moonlit Wilderness area in Tekken Tag 2, and I think you get like 1 or 2 of those kind of areas in these Tekken Tag tournaments, but I don't know, it would be nice to kind of see these areas remastered a little bit and stuff in like a modern Tekken kind of setting. But an underrated feature that I think nobody ever brings up nowadays, but was really cool for fighting games in the past, is I loved how it felt like a lot of times a lot of franchises would have it where each character would kind of have their own stage that you fought them on and stuff like that. Mortal Kombat never really did that, other than like the boss stages and stuff. But as you can see, like I'm pretty sure we're fighting everybody on their specific stages. Like this is Nina's stage. know, that forest thing was obviously, you know, Yoshimitsu's stage. Eddie, he has you know, like a beach type stage. King has his wrestling ring stage, all sorts of stuff like that. So I feel like that's something that's kind of missing in games nowadays. But that said, I mean, that's kind of the difference between, you know, what, the 20 characters in this title and holy shit. The 20 characters in this title and, you know, geez, what is it? Got to be like 40 something characters in Tekken nowadays. It's crazy. I think I just snapped his neck. But this is honestly one of the coolest Tekken stages there is too, because I like
Round 2.
you know, how it's like a ring, but there's also a lot of creative liberties with it, and you know, you're fighting on this big metal thing. I don't even know what it ruined, like the sky or like directly above the ocean. I don't even know. It's mad. It's pretty crazy. I'll give it that. Honestly, it reminds me of like Crash Bash for some reason, like that first area with the pinballs and stuff like that. If anybody played it. Speaking of Eddie Gordo,
Round 1.
this might actually be trouble because he's the capoeira characters. You know, it's not just Eddie, it's Christy and Tekken 4 and 5 and stuff like that. They're just the most annoying ones to hit.
You win.
Boom.
Round
Just snapped
2.
his neck.
Fight.
Hwoarang just, he was pretty good right out the gate. One thing does upset me about Tekken, I've kind of gone over in the past, is it really does suck that it's because there's a much bigger roster as well, but even though there was a smaller roster at the time, it did still feel like there was a lot of these characters still meant something. You know, like Hwoarang used to be a pretty big deal. You know, he actually beat Jin in you know, Tekken 5 and stuff like that. And, you know, it felt like his character was powerful and mattered, and then it just kind of felt like around Tekken 5 time is when, you know, they had so many characters that everybody just, there were so many characters that once kind of meant something and were people that were, you know, once considered guys who could have potentially won the tournament. You know, they're just kind of like jokers and like, hey, this guy's never gonna win. You know, Paul, I think, is one of those guys as well that I've gone over. Paul Phoenix in this game, actually, he actually makes it all canonically. He actually makes it all the way to the end of the tournament, beats Ogre, and I think he even they said he like pretty much just, he literally beat everybody in the tournament without losing a fight in this game. And then he beat Ogre, and it's so stupid, but the reason why he lost is because he beat Ogre and then he just walked away. Like, he thought he beat him, but then, like, I guess Ogre wasn't done, so Jin stuck around and defeated True Ogre and stuff like that. But really goofy, but it just went to show, you know, Paul meant something. You know, obviously he was once considered Kazuya's rival, and, you know, he actually, like, I think in Tekken 1 it said they fought for hours before, you know, I think Kazuya just barely beat him and stuff like that. But now, you know, Paul, it's just like, you know, he's in some goofy skit with Forrest or martial law where they kick each other in the balls. Or, you know, get beat up by Kuma somehow, something stupid like that. But what are you gonna do? But that's all for today's video, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out next week's episode on Fighting Friday, but above all else, please remember to have a nice day.